Yooka-Laylee is the type of experience that these days I would call very rare. It is an experience I've had unlike any other in the past decade. Its thrills, difficulty spikes, and nostalgia make this game stand out from the crowd. Hey guys, GameFrame here, and this is my review of Yooka-Laylee. On September 8, 2012, former Rare members created a Twitter called Minji Jango, named after the evil version of Mumbo Jumbo from Banjo-Tooie. This Twitter was the stepping stone of Yooka-Laylee. They stated that they wanted to make a spiritual successor to Banjo-Tooie, the last 3D platformer Rare made in the Banjo series. In a Reddit Ask Me Anything, composer of the Banjo-Kazooie series, Grant Kirkhope, stated that the project had been put on hold indefinitely. On February 10, 2015, almost 3 years after the project was put on hold, Playtonic Games was formed, comprised of 6 former Rare developers. They announced Project Yooka-Laylee, the development name for what we know today as Yooka-Laylee. They revealed Yooka-Laylee in a very successful Kickstarter in May of 2015, reaching its goal of £175,000 in 38 minutes. At this time, it was the first video game to reach $1 million from a Kickstarter campaign. The rest is really just history. As a spiritual successor to 2 of the greatest 3D platformers of all time, one must wonder what kind of genre this game is. Yes, it is a 3D platformer. No, there has not been a lot of 3D platformers in the past decade. Yooka-Laylee, however, makes history feel obsolete. After getting Banjo 3 cancelled since Rare was bought from Microsoft in September of 2002, Rare never made a 3D platformer Banjo game. This is where Yooka-Laylee comes in. This overall is a spiritual successor to Banjo, and it feels like it, which is the best thing any Banjo fan can ask for. The speech boxes, the collectibles, the characters' voices, the music, it's all there. So besides platforming, Yooka and Laylee have a bunch of collectibles and moves you could learn and find. You could buy and learn moves from Trouser the Snake, one of the game's many sexual innuendos. You could buy these moves using the quills you find in Worlds. Quills are this game's equivalent to Banjo's musical notes, though the quills seem a lot harder to find in Yooka-Laylee, since there are 200 of them in each world compared to Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie's 100. Pages, the game's main collectible and equivalent to Jiggies from Banjo, Golden Bananas from DK64, and Stars/Shine Sprites from Mario 64, Sunshine and Galaxy. There are 25 pages in each world compared to Kazooie and Tooie's 10 Jiggies per world. Each world, labeled Grand Tomes, can be expanded by using pages. This way you could go back in the world and find further pages and collectibles, etc. Other ways to earn pages are to do tasks for multiple NPCs around the world. In each Grand Tome you visit, there will be a cast of characters waiting for you. You can ride Cardos, the minecart, in a Donkey Kong Country styled minecart rides, where you collect a certain amount of gems to earn a page from. These rides, starting from World 2 onward, seem to be a bit of a problem for me, but they are difficult on purpose, not poor design choice. You could visit Rectro, a dinosaur who was left out of his generation 20 years ago. At first I felt sympathy for him, since in my head I saw that he was friends with Banjo & Co., but they abandoned him. I soon realized, though, why they did. When you find Rectro in each world, you can play as arcade machines to earn you pages. These arcade games are the absolute worst thing about Yooka-Laylee. I think Playtonic made these games horrible on purpose, however, since it goes well with Rectro's story with him being abandoned. After beating the games once, you can play them again to earn another pagey, but this time you have to beat Rectro's high score. This is the worst, and I absolutely hated everything about these challenges. Vendy, another main character, lets you equip cheats called tonics in reference to Playtonic, the developer's name. Dr. Puzz, this game's mumbo-jumbo, lets you transform after collecting a Mollycool. These transformations are really fun to play as, and I think this game had some of the stronger transformations when compared to, like, Banjo-Tooie. There are more collectibles you find in this game, such as butterfly health extenders, power bar meter extenders, play coins so you could play Rectro's Rectro's quote-unquote fun games. After progressing through the game's hub world, Ivory Towers, you'll soon meet up with Dr. Quack, the main villain's right hand, or I should say right headman. He presents you with quizzes similar to Grunty's Furnace Fun and the Tower of Tragedy from Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. These quiz questions can range anywhere from the pictures of worlds to your amount of pages and quills on hand, or even your total playtime. These quizzes are a bit frustrating, but they're no Furnace Fun or Tower of Tragedy when it comes to difficulty level. And we have the bosses. Now, usually in Banjo-Kazooie there weren't many bosses, there were just mini-bosses, like Congo, Nipper, the Snippets, but seeing as they wanted to expand upon what Tooie created, each Grand Tome had a boss. Each and every one of these bosses, in my opinion, were poorly designed, and they could have had a bit more time in the oven before they were done. After getting used to the patterns of the bosses, however, you could easily defeat them. Performance-wise, Yooka-Laylee ran almost perfect on a normal PS4. However, I did suffer from lag a few times, especially near Rectro or in Rectro's minigames. There was once where the game actually crashed after playing one of them. Besides that, I had very little performance issues, so all in all the game runs near perfect. I saw almost nothing wrong with it, besides the game crashing. On to the story. To keep it simple, Yooka and Laylee move into their new home of Shipwreck Creek, not knowing that the evil Capital B and his right-hand man, Dr. Quack, are planning on taking over the world from using pages from a special book. The special book, however, seemed to be Laylee's drink holder, and after realizing that the pages were being stolen, our new buddy duo were off onto their Grand Tome adventure. Here is where I could spend an hour talking about how damn amazing this game's soundtrack is. This game's OST is consisted of 3 legendary composers. Rare composers, that is. Grant Kirkhope, the man behind our childhood. He's composed games from Rare such as the Banjo series, Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye 007, Perfect Dark, the list goes on and on. Grant composed all the main themes of the worlds and its variants, like the underwater themes, the rooms that you discover within the Grand Tomes, etc., etc. He also composed the boss themes for the first 2 worlds and the final boss theme. Grant once again composed a masterpiece of a soundtrack for Yooka-Laylee. David Wise, the man behind rare games such as Battletoads, the Donkey Kong Country series, and Star Fox Adventures, composed all the minecart themes and World 3 and 4's boss battles. Steve Burke, a rather unknown composer to me, composed games such as Cameo Elements Power and co-composed Viva Pinata and its sequel along with Kirkhope. He also contributed to Star Fox Adventures along with Grant and David Wise, and he provided all the minigame themes for this game. Aside from having the Saturday morning cartoon look and feel to it, the graphics in this game were surprisingly very nice and vibrant. I can't say it's the most amazing looking game. Something I can comment on though are the animations. Something I thought that were going to be a big flaw in the game coming off of the Toy Box Plus, but the animations of this game are one of the best I've seen. I forgot how well these guys can animate their characters. You can really tell a lot about these characters from the way they're animated, and it has me very excited for whatever Playtonic decides to do next. Going along with that, I forgot to mention, Playtonic wants to make a universe out of all the characters they create. So each character in Yooka-Laylee seemed to get the same amount of attention and care as Yooka and Laylee did. In fact, without spoiling anything, there's a certain character in the last world of the game that I'm almost certain will get her own type of game from Playtonic in the future. So with Yooka-Laylee finally here and only having 2 flaws, that being Rectro's minigames and the boss battles, I could say this is a job well done by Playtonic, and it is deserving of the name of spiritual successor to the Bird and Bear. Hopefully they could adjust these flaws in the sequel that I'm sure will happen in the future. I give this game a 9.5 out of 10 for amazing world design, amazing characters, lively worlds, a fantastic soundtrack, and for overall making this Banjo fanboy happy to play the game he's been waiting for almost his entire life. As a final statement, I say play Yooka-Laylee if you're a fan of games like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, hell even Mario 64 or its sequels. This will satisfy your craving for a fun 3D platformer, as well as anger you for having its aggravating minigames and boss fights. But because of the overall charm of the game, by the time the credits roll, I'm certain you're going to be happy that this was kickstarted to its fullest and even more. Thank you Playtonic for making Yooka-Laylee, and here's high hopes for a Tooka-Laylee sometime in the near future. I'm GamePrime, that was my review of Yooka-Laylee. Thank you all for watching.